Okay, hello. I am Maria Peth with Maria's Angelic Enlightenment. And this morning, this is actually Sacred Circle with Maria, where we're going to be talking about care of the soul, the virtuous care of the soul, and a little bit about the new earth. So, care of the soul is very dear to my heart because I feel that that is synonymous with care, self-care. And to me, the body and the soul are one. So I appreciate you joining me today on this beautiful May Day. It's May 1st, 2019, so happy May Day. And let me just start with, a prayer to open this space. So if you would take a deep breath with me and sigh. Beautiful Lord, sweet angels, Holy Spirit, my guides and angels, and everyone that's here listening in live or listening later, we ask that you, Lord, surround us with your love and light. We ask that you bring guidance and clarity, that you bring peace and healing, and that you align us with the truth of our mission here on earth, each of us. As we sit together in this circle, this virtual circle, but truly a circle of souls, may you support us in any way that we might need. Amen. All right, so I'm going to really highlight eight soul care practices or 8 soul care strategies. Really this idea of you wanting to reconnect or actually to connect with your truth and your mission here on earth and help you to shine and recalling that you are in fact a light worker and that you have many, many angels and guides that have waited to support you on your mission. And many of us have been working our mission for many years in the way that we serve our families and others in the workforce, in the way that we are supporting those that we meet and just genuinely living in a space of gratitude, in a space of love, in a space of kindness to others and in truth. And these examples are really very important light work. And it's guesstimated that there are about, several million light workers on the planet, and there are 7+ billion people on the planet, but the million light workers are actually in charge of supporting, the shift to the new earth. So that is kind of how this dovetails with soul care and new earth, is that taking care of our soul is actually very important to supporting the shift of the new earth. So soul care, why do we do it? Because we want to align with the truth of our mission, and you want to shine more brightly in this world for your family, for friends, for coworkers, for the people in your community. And also this idea of calling in your angels and guides to align with you, to support with you. And the message of, God really speaking through you and speaking through your soul. So 8 practices. The first one I have down here is really this: know that you are spirit. So we are a soul having a human experience, and this human experience was, carved out for us with our support, the support of our guides before we arrived on the planet, and the Maker, our Creator, the Lord, looking and working with each soul, birthing each soul, supporting each soul through the we would say through the birth of your earth life. And in this time, you want to remember that you are spirit first. That's your eternal energy. That's the energy that continues in eternity and has always existed and comes directly from the the light that is God. And so we are always spiritual energies, spiritual beings living in a human body. And that's the first step, just to remember that. Because some, of us forget that, because we get all involved in humanity and what humans need and our own imbalances and what fatigues us, or what we've got to do, or how we can look better, or what we need to eat, and that keeps us very much in the body, which is grounded. But again, step number one to soul care is remember and know that you are spiritual energy living and existing in this physical form at this time on earth. All right, then number two, you want to allow yourself to be present. And I love this idea of presence, and I've been listening a lot more to Eckhart Tolle. Perhaps many of you have read The Power of Now, or his book about the new earth. But his message repeatedly is about presence. And all that we have control of, which isn't really control, but all that we are really aware of is this very moment now. And when we are present, we're actually not out there, we're really in our body, we're recognizing the soul, and we're connecting with the truth of who we are. In this present moment, I can say that I can see many of you on the computer. I can see myself actually reflected back to me. It is comfortable in my house, and it's a little bit of a dreary, day out there, wanting to be spring-like. And this is my reality. This is the present moment. And in this present moment, I feel good. And I am so honored to be speaking to all of you and to be working with you and to be doing my light work, which I have been called to do. And this light work for me has been to teach and to inspire and to, encourage, and to also help heal souls to come to the light. So in terms of a mission, my mission is not that different from yours. It's just that I might deliver it differently. But again, repeating number one, know that you are spirit, having a human experience. And number two, that you want to allow yourself to be present. And in that space, being present, we can also be aware that we are these multi-dimensional beings. So that's the part of thinking of the new earth, is that we're a spiritual being, we're a physical being. We also have a higher self that is meeting with God, meeting with our counsel, connecting and working through us. And we, also have a galactic self connected to other star energy and star beings. And we're multidimensional, and we are capable of understanding that there is more than just what's in front of us, that there is also this expansive space of energy. So we're present with what's in front of us, but we're also very aware of the bigger presence that we have of being this multidimensional being. So that's number two. So just knowing those things are kind of like prerequisites for soul care. I know that I'm a spiritual being. I know that I'm going to be present and be connected to the thankfulness, the gratitude, and the blessings that are, about me and for me. And I have this understanding of the bigger me, which is a multidimensional being. And then that leads us to the third step, the third practice, or the third care for the soul method or technique, is that we want to remember Jesus. So in the Bible, I believe it's John, the book of John, chapter 4, John speaks about where Christ gives us, I believe, steps to caring for our soul. And there's a message in that chapter about how Jesus walks through, I believe it was Samaria, where most Jews wouldn't go because it was kind of this land where things were going on that were not holy, they said. And so the Jews would go around Samaria by the River Jordan. But Samaria was, kind of like, we could say like Las Vegas, okay, that there's all this excitement going on, and maybe we don't want to get mixed up in some of the, the things that are going on or the happenings that are going on there. But Jesus went. Jesus says, I must walk through Samaria. I must walk through, being a teacher, contrasting and knowing that perhaps there was someone that needed to have a lesson and to be reached and to understand the greater love that God brings us. So in that chapter, in that scenario, if I remember correctly, he goes to a well to draw water, and this woman is there, Samaritan woman, and she, questions him about, drawing the water, and he talks about the well, that you'll thirst at this well, the actual water well, that you'll thirst and you'll continue to, need to dip into this well many times, but that he says, I know of the gift of God and the well of God, and this well is, eternal. This well is endless. And so I really love that story, and I love that idea of, to me, like Jesus gives us a clue about how to live and how to remember God, to remember that there is a well of God. And when I think about that, I think about the first two steps that I shared with you on knowing that you are a spiritual being living in a physical body. We can say it like that as if it's metaphysical, but Jesus also says, know the gift of God and the well, that is available to us, the of God, and that well is spirit. That well is the expansiveness of being. The well is the multi-dimensions. The well is endless and enormous. We cannot limit God to like being a human. God is so much more. And so when we go to that well, when we restore ourselves, when we take time to pray, which is really what step number 3 is about, is praying, connecting with God, meditating, connecting with God, being silent, being and going within, so that we go to the well that is available to us at any time, and we restore. And all of us know, you feel restored after a day at the spa. You feel restored after you've had a good sleep. You feel restored after you've had your feet up for a while, and your soul restores in this space of prayer. And the prayer can look very individual to what you might need. It can be a prayer where you are actually a rote prayer like the Our Father or a Hail Mary or a Glory Be, or a prayer that you're reading from prayer books. It could be a prayer like this, a rote prayer. It can be a prayer that you design yourself, just going in the flow of the Spirit and being again in that moment, being grateful and thankful and blessed with what is around you. It can be a prayer of silence where you simply reflect, and we call that meditation more specifically. And it can be this kind of a prayer, a silent prayer where we ask the monkey mind to be quiet so that we can hear God speaking to our soul. And we need to understand that our soul needs that time, that we, in our waking hours, we should carve out at least 20 minutes a day where we're letting our soul just be and receive, instead of being in a constant thinking of the human mind. And again, I've talked about meditation or prayerful reflection or quiet time many, many times, and in other videos we've chatted longer about this. But you understand that to restore, the soul must reconvene with God, and we have to give the soul time. And it's wakeful time is valuable. Sleep time is valuable, but wakeful time that you are dedicating to being awake and yet turning off the monkey mind, the ego, and reflecting on just being is huge for the soul. And your soul needs restoration. The soul needs time to just be idle. The soul needs time for you to breathe. Other ways to also let the soul have this mindful, ness is you can, do a little drumming, very, very slowly, like the thumping of your heart, like boom, 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 and just let the meditation of that, kind of flow with you. You can hum to yourself. You can, go for a walk. You can go into, to places of nature, which is actually, I believe, another one of the steps is sometimes reflecting in nature. But I will go back to this idea in a little bit. So meditation is step 3. Convening with God, calling God in, as Jesus instructed us in the chapter that John wrote about, know the gift of God, Jesus said. And that is a soul, it's a soul step. It's a request from Jesus himself saying, we need to know the gift of God. And to do that, we've got to sit with God more quietly. We've got to sit with God and really give our intention, give our attention and focus our intention on receiving from the God presence. All right, number 4, the clairs. When you take care of your spiritual self, the soul self, you also will take care in the way that we cleanse your chakras. We would align with clairvoyance, clairaudience, clairsentience, and claircognizance. Very, very, at first sporadically, but maybe intentionally. So these clairs, this is, the idea of the metaphysical understanding of how we can commune spiritually with God beyond our physical self. Clairvoyance is clear seeing, and we have an opportunity to close our eyes and reflect with God and see in our mind's eye, or even see out in the world, a holy cross, the idea of meditation beads, or the impression of a beautiful saint, or even the picture of the angels. That is a way that we see clairvoyantly. And clairvoyance is also vision, having a vision in your mind's eye, or having a dream. And again, this is an important way to connect with God and the way that God can speak to us, and to cleanse and clear our soul. Because we are asking God to show us the way, or to give us an impression, and that is clairvoyance. And, I've talked about this in relationship to angels, but nothing is more important than knowing that, God is the creator of all, and connect to source, connect to God. And in clairvoyance, you are clearing out the cobwebs of your physical eyes and getting more clear spiritually. And that is a way to, take care of your soul. So practice a little bit of asking, God for a vision, asking and seeing a dream and understanding that dream, and knowing that often we get dreams and impressions, from God on a regular basis, just guiding us, and paying attention to that clairvoyant way that God guides us. And then, of course, the idea of feeling. And we all know that this is clairsentience, clear feeling. And you have impressions that we receive a lot of times from the world around us, and many times from the people around us. We will get an impression of, oh, this person feels very joyful to me. This person seems sad to me. We understood this from the time we were little. Mama's sad, or daddy's angry, or, daddy's happy and he's proud of me, or mama's, really, kind of quiet and peaceful right now. We understand the feelings of others, and we receive those. But again, how about receiving feelings and emotions and impressions as messages from Source, as messages from God? This is important for clearing the soul, because the soul yearns to hear from God. The soul yearns to feel God's desire for us. The soul is, saying, I know myself when I am clear, when I am understanding what God wants, from me. And this feeling it goes beyond the physical and into the metaphysical with clairsentience, clear feeling, clear understanding. And it's not from other people. It's just a feeling that you get. Oh, I feel like I should go to bed earlier tonight. I feel that I should, nourish my body right now. I feel that I should, sit in quiet. I feel that I should go out in nature today. These are all feelings that are very natural, and they are, clairsentient ways that God speaks to your soul. I saw Randy there for a second. Hearing, clairaudient hearing. And nothing is more restorative for the soul than sound, beautiful sound, musical sounds, the sound of singing, the sound of laughter, the sound of your name being called, the sounds of silence. And in this respect, sound can restore your soul. I am so grateful that this past weekend at the 14th Annual Angel Retreat with Maria, we had a sound bath, a sound therapy session with 2 practitioners. Some of you may know them, Jerry Lynn Shares and Colette Ellison, did a concert for us with singing bowls and rain stick and a small gong, and both metal and crystal singing bowls, and some other little, like shakers, and also using their own sound, like the wind, like, and some humming. It was quite beautiful and restorative for the soul. I mean, I believe in that meditation, in that therapy session, that group experience, I went somewhere else and had a real clearing and felt really restored. And so, listen to music that can lift your soul. If you have your own instruments that are waiting for you to play them. I mean, a piano, a guitar, the strumming of these things, a drum, again, a singing bowl, your own rain stick, and your own throat, your own humming, your own singing, and also beautiful music that has been put out by many artists that can again restore the soul. I always at Christmas love to play like the pentatonics, because they have all that. It's all a cappella. They're all using their voice, but it sounds amazing, and it's so restorative to me. And again, sound, and this is a clair, and you're hearing with your physical ears, and you can also hear with your spiritual ears. But the physical ears in this respect need to be more attuned to the beauty of the world, and then we attune to the beauty of spirit and how spirit speaks to us. And you can be more cognizant of the little whispers that may come to your mind, and the whispers that may come to your ears that are angel whispers or God whispers, or your spirit guide whispering. And again, practicing and being aligned with the clairs is important. And the last clair to really help you with your soul clearing and the virtues of soul care is this idea of claircognizance, clear knowing, the download clear knowing. And you must clear your chakras. So I want to say that that is one of the steps, clearing your chakras. We're on step number 4, but number 5 would be clearing your energy centers, clearing your chakras. And if you don't have a means or an understanding of clearing the chakras, then do go to my YouTube channel and listen to my angelic healing play. It's on YouTube. It is audio, but it is a meditation, angelic healing, and it can help you clear your energy centers, clear your chakras. When you are clear, and especially the crown, asking your crown to be open and clear is very important to clear cognizance, to clear knowing. And because that opens the beautiful channel that we have with God and with the galaxies and the higher self. And so when we ask our crown chakra and our clear cognizance, our clear knowing to be open, we can receive wonderful messages. They will be very subtle at first. It may not be, like you get this big download of information, but clear cognizance is kind of like a combination of the other clairs, because clear cognizance is like suddenly you just know, you have this complete understanding, you have the feeling, you have like the words that would come with this impression, you see it in some way, you just have this complete understanding, this complete knowing. And you don't know how you know, and you don't have to, but opening the crown is important. Having all of your energy centers aligned is important for soul clearing, for soul care, as we're talking about in step number 5. But in step number 4, clear cognizance, the clearing of the crown chakra is very important. So I'm just going to review this really quickly. Know that you are spirit. Living in a physical body is number 1. Number 2, allow yourself to be present, both physically and also be open to the multidimensional being that you are. Step 3, connect with God through prayer, through meditation, and its many forms. And step 4, understand the clairs, clairvoyance, clairsentience, clairaudience, and claircognizance. And I already explained all those very well. And then step 5, clear your energy centers with your chakra clearing. And if you need a chakra clearing, please refer to Angelic Healing by Maria Peth. You can also find it on Apple Music. You can also find it on CD Baby. And it's free on my YouTube channel. And so please, if you haven't done it yet, do subscribe to my YouTube channel so that you can get regular updates when I post. All right. And then number 6 is a creative outlet of some kind. And I'm so grateful that I can see the beautiful Sue Anderson in front of me at this class today, because she has done a wonderful job of connecting to her creative side lately and using art and creating these incredible, I think some of them have been watercolors, and I don't know if there's some oils, but just beautiful, beautiful pieces of artwork and creative side. And that's like one type of creativity, right? We all have some part of us that yearns to do that which we have neglected for a while. And then maybe as our life slows down a little bit, we can introduce some of these things. But what a wonderful creative outlet. And in that creative outlet, especially for the person I'm speaking about, for Sue, she is we would say recreating some beautiful insights that she's seen and photos that she's seen and live life that she's seen and putting them on canvas, and it is therapeutic. It's healing, not just for her to do the artwork, but for those of us looking at it. You can see the beauty, you can see God working through her. And when we are working our right brain, when we're working our creative mind, God is there. And that is so important for the soul. Maybe for you it's music, maybe for you it's dance, maybe for you it's writing, perhaps it is an artistic form of some kind, perhaps for you it's creating a new formula for for taking care of the elk, perhaps it's a new creative idea you have. For me, like, I create activities for people. I have these, I find myself, I write, but one of my favorite pieces of creating is when I'm creating like a new class, when I am in the midst of like, oh, I want to do this retreat, and we're going to put this in it, we're going to go on this destination, and it's creating and bringing the pieces together, and it's very right brain. It's a very creative process. Some of that requires left brain analytical detail, but the right brain is really the one that's connecting, and God is like speaking to us in those moments, whether you are painting or singing or dancing, or again creating a new formula, or connecting with animals or plants, or your children, or you're teaching children and creating a lesson, you're teaching adults and you're creating activities, whatever that is. Creating, number 6, is a very important step in communing with God and in healing and nurturing and feeding your soul. And so, again, that's something that we have to remember, that we're not just supposed to be doing all the time. Like, your dishes have to be washed, your clothes, and you have to cook, meals sometimes, and those things are going to happen. And some people are creative cooks, so that can be a really exciting thing. Some people are going to, design new ways for us to wash dishes, or the new cars that are coming out that drive themselves, or that, there'll be the next, iPhone, or whatever, it might be. Those are creative spaces. And but again, a way that we commune with God, a way that God, feeds our souls and helps us to remember our purpose and our mission here on earth, and to act on it. And those are like the little steps that, come, every day. And it's inspiration. And, there's so many ways that humans are inspired, and sometimes they just go, oh, I don't have time for that. And you turn it off, instead of saying, I'm going to carve out time for this inspiration that I am receiving. I'm going to, I'm going to do this. And it's restorative. It is like probably the top restorative way to take care of your soul, is to be in that space of creativity. All right, so that was number 6. And now number 7 is hugely important. The soul needs you to feed it good karma. The soul needs you to heal any unforgiveness you have, any regrets you have, and to be in a state of love for self and the soul. The soul needs that in the long life that we have in eternity. We are right now living and fixing and healing all kinds of ripples that may have happened before us, when we heal that one relationship that is nagging at us. We heal ripples in many lifetimes and experiences, and in our higher self and in our expanded being, when we forgive ourselves, when we love ourselves, when we heal a relationship, when we heal a thought, when we heal a negative, persisting, nagging issue that is mostly in our mind. We are healing the soul, and we are erasing karmic debt. We're erasing miles and ripples of karmic issues. And we don't have to remember all of it now, but sometimes we get really stuck and we go, why don't I really like that person? Or why is it that I get a bad vibe when I'm around this group of people? and we get into our head about it. And that is okay, because that's the human condition. And we can get all psychological about it, and we can do all the therapy we want about it. But in the spiritual space, you are supposed to awaken to the fact that there is a little bit of dissonance happening, and just be aware of it and forgive whatever has affected you in this way, and let it be, or forgive yourself for feeling this way, or forgive that you are human, and understand that on the karmic level, you're going to heal ripples and ripples and lifetimes of issues if you simply are aware that maybe this person kind of bugs you, or this situation, or this kind of thing, and it's a human thing. And on a soul level, there is much to be grateful for. On a soul level, you're grateful that it's coming up, so you have this lesson. You're grateful that, you know, that person got in your face the other day, because for the first time you can get out of your way, the ego way of saying you're important, and you can say, well, maybe there's some merit to what they were saying, and I'll listen to that. Or, no, this isn't resonating with me, and being authentic to yourself. You know, there's many, many times where we have conflict with people emotionally, and it has nothing to do with us. And it could have a lot to do at times with the past lives. And we don't really understand it, but, you know, we do have to allow karma, debt to be paid. And anytime you have a conflict, that's when the opportunity is available. Anytime you have a contrast, that's when the opportunity is available. Oh, I'm coming up to a stop sign of karmic debt, and I've got to, you know, release it through perhaps forgiveness, through awareness, through prayer, through, you know, creating some kind of harmony with the situation or that person if it's allowed, or simply with the thoughts that you're having. So this could be a whole session on its own. It's very important, but I want to go on to number 8. So number 8 is comprehensive. Number 8 is body care, taking care of the body. This outer shell is mucho importante, is very important. This outer shell that you live in, that the soul is encased in, is huge. And your soul is happy when your outer soul is healthy and vibrant. And there are so many ways we can take care of our outer self. Again, in this past weekend's angel retreat, we had a board full of ways that we can use, you know, wellness, and it was transformation to wellness. Some of the very aspects of how we treat ourselves in the different ways that we may live. So I named a few here. Physical care, like in physical activity, is important. Nutrition is important. Considering non-toxic environment, and also non-toxic foods that you're taking in, and even non-toxic, you know, chemicals, that getting rid of toxic chemicals and using non-toxic and more plant-based nutraceuticals for cleaning, and for, you know, even your supplements. Sleep, very important. Physical touch by another human. And, you know, some of us have significant others, and physical touch is, you know, is easy to, you know, access by getting a hug or, you know, giving a kiss. Some of us, you know, don't. And if you are, you know, living alone and don't, you know, get in contact with many people on a regular basis, then make sure you know, are getting a massage, or having, some kind of treatment done that's body work. And that's another way to get touch, or communing in church where everyone maybe holds hands for a particular prayer, or getting in with a group that does prayer. Tonight in my office will be, a Course in Miracles class, and those that are coming hold hands and pray. And then we also hug, and, those community activities allow for physical touch, but physical touch is important, and we don't give it enough, credit when we either don't give it enough merit because we take it for granted, or when we live alone, we don't find or seek ways to get the physical touch. In that same respect, take a nature bath, walk in the forest, walk in the fields, go outside and listen to the birds sing. Enjoy, laying on the grass, and planting flowers or trees, or hugging the trees, communing with nature, getting your feet in water, getting your physical self, in this immersion of nature in any way that feels right for you, and that is, comfortable for you. For some people, nature is very, inspiring in the winter. They love to be outside where you have like this coat of snow everywhere, and it's so quiet because it is acting like an acoustic, to kind of muffle the sounds. And taking a walk, in the woods, or on a path, or even, just around your block when it's, cold, is just as therapeutic because it's nature. So whatever is accommodating for you. I like to walk by the ocean when I'm by the ocean. I love to go to the Red Rocks of Sedona. And now I also understand the benefits of the mountain in Mount Shasta. And I think about, in Hawaii with Haleakala, we had the mountain Haleakala, and we also had the ocean, like right there, so accessible, and those are beautiful ways to connect with nature. But here in Iowa, I don't have a mountain, but there are amazing places of quietude. And I have a river just across the way from me here, and an acre of land. I think about, like my friend Mary, who has, a really nice ranch, and she's got animals, and it's such a beautiful setting that I haven't been to, but I've seen her on video, and it looks really nice. That's nature. So any way that we can find it, and right along with nature is a vacation. So that's another important way we take care of our physical being, and in turn take care of our soul being, is by scheduling vacation. And it can be a vacation for 3 days. It can be like a retreat. It can be a 2-week vacation. It can be a month vacation. It can be a 1 day where you take 5 hours to yourself. Not 2, not 3, not 4, but 5 hours, a half a day, a half a wakeful day to yourself, away from your busy requirement and your just being. It's restorative to the soul and the body. So we cannot forget vacations. And then reconnecting with others, with people. And it's kind of synonymous to physical touch, reconnecting with others. But there is a way of like physical touch, and there's also like community with others. Community, like we do get in community activities, or when you're working together on a project, or when, people are communing for the purpose of finishing a task, or or doing something in the name of service to others, and working together, connecting. Sometimes we get that in the workplace when you're in a community of people working together. Oh, excuse me, I gotta have a little drink of water. Excuse me. This cup was given to me by a beautiful friend up in Decorah. Elaine gave this to me, and it's got like a crystal here, and it was created by this woman. It says Healing Touch Pottery, and I just like feel like water tastes better when I know that it's come from, somebody that created something by hand. And Elaine actually gave me a couple more of these that have angels on them, but I haven't broken them out of the boxes, and I've had them for 3 years. I have this one is perfect, and I love it. So kind of giving a little thank you and gratitude to a friend for a gift, and how that being present and drinking that water and just restoring the body with hydration and good food and nourishment, and then again being present and appreciating the moment is all about soul care. I mean, so that is the last number 8, right? Body care. So I'm going to just ask, if I'm not going to ask for any questions. I'm going to ask if angels have anything that they want me to share. If there is, I'm going to ask for the channel of information to be open a minute here, and just see if God and the angels have anything more I need to add into this session for you. I do think that they're reminding me about this idea of soul development. So this was soul care, and also the idea of the new earth, and that is soul development can be its own class, and perhaps I will touch on that next time. I think the next class is supposed to be about journaling and soul journeys, but we can do this soul development. It would dovetail very nicely in there. But soul care is one thing, developing the soul so that we are actually preparing for the new earth. And it's already happening. The new earth is happening. Because we have communities like this, learning together is part of the new earth. Because we have, a bunch of soul brothers and sisters that are really, hearing hearing and knowing and feeling and being community and connected and of like mind in this positive way of living, and a way of service to one another, a way of caring and being kind, and matters, that kindness matters, that love matters, that joy matters, that taking care of your neighbor matters. This is the beginning of the new earth, and even our current situation, our political situation, where sometimes we hear some harshness coming from like one of the leaders, makes the rest of us who are on this earth with the mission of raising the vibration of the whole earth, makes us realize how important it is, and it calls everybody together. When we have something that is kind of that kind of digs at your core and goes, oh, that's wrong, that it's wrong as a judgment, but that feels misaligned. It helps us to then lighten up and go, kindness is so important. We need to make sure we emphasize that with our children, with our household, with ourselves, and that is the message of soul development. That soul care then leads into soul development, and development means that we're improving with each lifetime, and sometimes we're improving hundreds of lives in one lifetime, because we have easily accomplished challenge after challenge after challenge, accomplished or superseded or healed, again, karmic debt, and challenges after challenge after challenge. So a quick review here is know that you are spirit, allow yourself to be present is number 2, and number 3 is connect with God and Jesus. Jesus said, know the gift of God, and we do that through meditation and prayer. Number 4 was the clairs, know that you can see, hear, feel, and know clearly. And you can clear your energy centers with a chakra clearing experience or chakra clearing activity or meditation. And I told you can use mine, Angelic Healing with Maria Peth. It's available. And then I think I'm on number 6, the creative outlet. be sure that you engage in a creative outlet. If not, if it doesn't have to be every day, but that you are giving time for this creative outlet. If you give time to creative outlet every day, you will probably be way happier. But if you are doing that at least once a week and twice a week, then it's still restorative and important. 7, heal the karmic lessons and with forgiveness and love. And 8, body care. Take care of your body in multiple ways: physical, nutritional, with sleep, with touch, with vacation, with nature, and connecting with other humans, and also with spa experiences. So that wraps up the 8 ways that I'm speaking of today, anyways, of soul care. And some of you are doing some of these things naturally, and we don't have to think about it. And some of us have to say, I'm not doing enough of this. I think I could do this to improve this part of my soul being healthy. And we don't realize how valuable the soul is sometimes because we can't see the soul. But boy, if you didn't have one, you wouldn't be here. So let us finish with a little prayer here, if I may. Let's take a deep breath and let out stress. Beautiful Lord. Thank you for working with us, light workers, today in every way and guiding us to taking better care of our soul so that we might hear you and know you and go to the well that is God more often and nourish our soul without end. May we remember our missions and prod away gently to make important changes to support the change on our planet to a more loving and caring existence with more energy of the positive than ever before, the new earth, as so many of us know and understand it to be, and it getting even more magnificent by the moment. In your name, we are grateful, and for this time together, I praise you, Lord, and am honored to be a teacher. In your name, we are ever grateful. Amen. Now I'm going to turn off the recording so that we don't have any, don't have this. Thank you for listening, and be sure to subscribe. And I'm